today we're going to read Nate the Great and the Hungry Book Club. Chapter 1. Torn, Ripped, Ruined. My name is Nate the Great. I am a detective. My dog Sludge is a detective too. Ouch! Right now, I am a mumbling, bumbling, tripping detective. I have just tripped over a big pile of books that Rosamond left in my house. Sludge is sniffing them. He has been sniffing them since Rosamond knocked on my door this morning. She was carrying a bunch of books. 3 more was piled on her head. Rosamond looked very strange. Rosamond looks strange all the time. I have great news, she said. I have started a book club. I am calling it Rosamond's Ready Readers. But there is trouble in the club. One of the members is trying to wreck my cookbook. Look! Rosamond took a book off her head. The other 2 books fell off. Why are you carrying books on top of your head? I asked. Because I'm president of a club now. These books help me hold my head high, and I look like a president. I, Nate the Great, knew that I was looking at a very strange president. This is a new cookbook, she said. Yesterday, I left it open on my kitchen table after I made treats for a club meeting. When the meeting was over, I went to get the treats for the members. The page that was open, torn, ripped, ruined. Sludge and I took at the page. I, Nate the Great, say that it was torn, ripped, ruined. Chapter 2. The Crime Scene. Rosamond pulled something out of her pocket. Here is a photo of the crime scene, she said. I looked at the photo. Your kitchen was a crime scene? Of course. Keep this photo and study it. You can see that my cookbook is in the middle of a huge, high table. The torn page had a recipe for tuna fish pie. The bits of pie that fell on the page are gone too. I want you to find the evil monster who did this. Monster? Yes, the evil page monster, Rosamond said. Now here is my plan. The next meeting will be at my house this afternoon. You and Sludge can come undercover. Just present you are new members. I'll be using this cookbook again. Meanwhile, I'll leave these other books here, where they'll be safe. I left 1 book at home. This member will be reading it at home today's meeting. Rosamond piled her books on my floor. You are so lucky to have this case. I, Nate the Great, did not agree. Perhaps this is a case for a bookworm, I said. Enjoy being a bookworm, Rosamond said. I looked at Sludge. We both know that if I don't take the case, Rosamond would come back and back and back and back. Chapter 3. A Bookcase. I wrote a note to my mother. Dear Mother. Chapter 4. The Hungry Book Club. It was afternoon. Sludge and I went to the Rosamond's house. She answered the door. She had only 1 book on her head. I peered inside her house. I saw Oliver, Pip, Finley, Clyde, Emeralda, Annie, and Annie's little brother Harry staring in a circle. Also sitting in the circle was Annie's dog Fang and Rosamond's 4 cats, Plain Hex, Little Hex, Big Hex, and Super Hex. I stepped back. The Hexes and Fangs belong to your book club, Sure, Rosamond said. Everybody loves stories and treats. I serve tuna fish pies to the cats and meat patties to Fang. Everybody else gets cookies. This is a very hungry book club. Come in. I Nate the Great am not in the mood for cookies or circles, I said. Susan and I will sit in a corner. Chapter 5. Meet Harvard Hedgehog. Rosamond sat down in a big chair. She took the book off her head. She held it up. This is our book for today, she announced. Harvard Hedgehog. We will take this turn reading it out loud. Then we will talk about the book. I will start. Harvard Hedgehog was always late. He arrived at parties just in time to bump into everyone leaving. He nibbled leftover cake crumbs and lipped melted ice cream. Then he sat in a corner and exclaimed, "Wonderful party!" to the empty room. Nate the Great was sitting in a corner like Harvard Hedgehog. I pretended to go to sleep, but I was watching. The book went from member to member. Nobody was turning pages. It was Esmeralda's turn to read. When Harvard went to the movies, he always get there when the movie was over. As everyone was going out, Harvard was going in. He would sit down on the stale popcorn and looked up at the big empty screen. "Great show!" he exclaimed to no one. Harvard meant to be one time, but he never was. Suddenly, Esmeralda stopped reading. She looked puzzled. "A page is missing," she said. Rosamond looked straight at me. A ripped page in one book and now missing page from another. When I bought this book, there was no page missing. I know because I read the entire book before I bought it. Nate the Great looked at Sludge. I know now we had a real case. Chapter 6. Double Trouble. Rosamond raised her arms. As the president of Rosamond's Ready Readers, I will not let this stop our book club meeting. Members, who would like to tell me what you think of this book so far? Esmeralda raised her hand. At first, I thought that Harvard needed a watch, but now I know he needs a page. Claude raised his hand. Claude was always losing things. I don't like the book because Harvard doesn't lose anything, he said. If you lose anything, you never have a chance to find what you did lose. Excellent thought, Rosamond said. Oliver spoke up. I follow people. Everyone knows I do. Harvard doesn't. I follow anybody. Harvard is a very boring hedgehog. Thanks for sharing that with us, Rosamond said. Me. Harry was jumping up and down. I like the book. I like the picture of Harvard smiling in the big clock the best. Rosamond smiled. Well, we have a nice happy Harvard and a happy Harry, she said. I am proud of all my members, except who ripped a page and took a page. Nate the Great was thinking, who would rip a page of the cookbook and a page of Harvard Hedgehog? Someone who liked the books, or someone who disliked the books, or someone who couldn't decide. And where was the missing page? I would like to see the book, I said. Rosamond handed it to me. I see that the missing page would have been number 15 on the side and 16 on the other. I said, numbers crumbers. Rosamond said. You have a double mystery. Just solve it. Chapter 7. The Evil Page Monster. Rosamond stood up. Now it's time for the treats, she said. The animals are getting results. Sludge and I followed Rosamond to the kitchen. It was a mess, but Sludge snipped and snipped. He liked this case because it smelled good. I saw a cookbook on the table. This time, the book was open to a recipe for meat patties. There were bits of meat on the page. Rosamond must have been using the cookbook today to make her treats. This page had no ribs. Fang and the Hexes walked in. Fang sniffed the table. He started to jump up and reach for the cookbook. Stop! Rosamond yelled. You, Fang, are the evil page monster. I, President Rosamond, have solved this case. Fang must have sneaked in during yesterday's meeting, eaten bits of food, and ripped the page, and now I've stopped him from doing it again. Rosamond folded her arms and looked at me. Time to find the missing page, she said. I, Nate the Great, had two choices. I could search for the missing page, or I could go home and eat pancakes and think. Chapter 8. Snips. I ate my pancakes while Sludge ate a bone. Then Sludge walked around the room. He was looking for something, and he found it. It was a photo Rosamond had left there. He sniffed it and sniffed it and sniffed it. Was he trying to tell me something? Was the ripped page case really solved? Did Fang really do it? I looked at the photo again. The page in the cookbook had no food on it. The page I had seen at Rosamond's house has tiny bit of meat on it. The recipe in the photo was for tuna fish pies. The recipe at the house was for meat patties. One recipe for cats, one recipe for dogs. Good work, Sludge, I said. Chapter 9. Not so fast. I called Rosamond. I am coming back to your house, I said. I need Annie and Fang to be there. I put the photo of the tuna fish pie page in my pocket. Sludge and I rushed to Rosamond's house. Rosamond was waiting for us at the door. Your ripped page case is not solved, I said. That Fangy Fang did it, Rosamond said. And here he comes down the street with Annie. We must all go into the kitchen, I said. Rosamond, Annie, Fang, Sludge, and I went into the kitchen. The cookbook was still open on the table. Fang sniffed and ran to the table. Ho hum, Rosamond said. We already know that Fang ripped the page yesterday. Wait, I said. Fang jumped up and put his front jaws on the table. He opened his jaws. He scratched. But he couldn't reach the cookbook. This table is too high and big for Fang, I said. Poor Fang, and he said. He's big and smart, but he isn't that stretchy. I, Nate the Great, already know that Fang would have grabbed the bits of meat during the meeting if he could have reached them. Rosamond sighed. Okay, so Fang couldn't have ripped the page yesterday. Correct, I said. Also, he didn't like tuna fish pie. I pulled the cookbook photo out of my pocket. This photo shows the cookbook open to a tuna fish pie recipe, but the open page have no bits of tuna fish on them. I already know that, Rosamond said. I, Nate the Great, say that some reached for the tuna fish bits and was scratching and tearing to get any list more bit. Who? Rosamond asked. Little Legs, I said. He can leap high. Also, he can hide in small spaces. He is so small that he could have gone into the kitchen and come back without your seeing him. Rosamond clapped her hands. Little Hex is growing up, my darling little page monster. I need the grade say that the ripped page case is solved, and you should try not to keep kitchen neater. Clean clothes are better. I took 2 bones from my pocket. I give one to Fang and one to Sludge. Rosamond keep clapping. Little Hex must have been taking Harvard Hedgehog page too. What a talent he is. Not so fast, I said. You're trying to reuse a clue. Little X might not have been taking the page. Tell me everything about your Harvard Hedgehog book. Well, yesterday Annie and I went to the book sale at the school around the corner. I bought the book there. I read it before I bought it. There wasn't been a missing page. After I bought the book, I keep it with me, in my hands, on my head. I even slept with it. Is there anything else I should know? I asked. No, I'm a president. I think of everything. Then I must leave, I said. Leave? But you just come. That's how it is in detective business, I said. We come, we go. We go where the clue takes us. I need the great know that I needed more clues. If the book was Rosamond with Rosamond all the time, how could a page be missing? Chapter 10. Stretchy Fang. Annie, Fang, Sludge, and I left to Rosamond's house. I left Rosamond's house. I am looking for a clue, I said to Annie, a missing page clue. I don't have any clues, Annie said. But I would want to know that Fang can be stretchy some of the times. You should have seen him at the school book sale. What? I said. He was there? I brought him along when I went with Rosamond, Annie said. Tell me exactly how Fang was stretchy there, I said. Well, we went to the used books table. A lady there told us that some books might have food stains, loose bindings, and found the page. Rosamond, being picked through the book and reading them. If she liked the book, she put it in a pile on the table. Suddenly, Fang put his paws on the table and started to sniff a book. There were stains on it that looked like chicken noodle soup. Fang liked the book. Then he pawed through more books and licked pages. Lots of books fell to the floor. Fang was really stretchy. It was his kind of table. Then what happened? I picked up the book that Fang had licked and bought them. Rosamond's pile had turned over, but she scooped up some books and from the table on the floor and bought them. We both went home with some full bags. Since Fang had licked and liked the books, I put them all in the stockhouse. Thank you for information, I said. I turned to Sludge. You and I are going to school. Chapter 11. School Clues. Sludge and I rushed to the school. The book sale was in the gym. A lady walked up to us. I know she was a librarian because she had a badge on the shirt that said librarian. Sometimes being a detective is easy. Hello, I said. I am looking for a Harvard Hedgehog. You're in luck, the librarian said. We sold 2 cups of Harvard, but we still have 1 left. And here is on the table. Here he is on the table. Do you have page 15 and 16, I asked. Yes, the pages are in good shape, clean, and with strong bindings. No chicken noodle soup, I said. What? I was just thinking. I'm a detective. I think a lot. I think I will buy this book. I bought the book and thanked to the librarian. Then Sludge and I went home. Chapter 12, The Harvard Hedgehog Picture. I sat down in my favorite chair. I opened my Harvard Hedgehog book. I turned to page 15. There was a picture of Harvard getting his photo taken in front of the big clock. He looked proud, and he was smiling. But why would anyone take that picture? I need to agree say that there must have far because better things in the world to watch than a hedgehog posing for his photo. And then I remembered something. What I had just seen in the book was not the news to me. I have already heard about it. I naively was about to solve this case. I had 2 clues, school clues. I was told that the pages in my book were in good shape, clean, strong binding, and I was told that some books had loose bindings. Page bindings. I need to agree say that a loose binding could cause a loose page, and a loose page could become a missing page. There had been 3 copies of this Harvard Hedgehog book at the used book sale. Rosamond had picked up a good copy, but when her pile fell down, she must have grabbed the copy that had her missing page. She didn't know it, and you must have bought the good copy that Rosamond had picked out, and she didn't know it. And how I did Nate the Great know it? Because now I remember where I had heard about Harvard Hedgehog smiling in front of the big clock. From Harry at the book club meeting. But how could Harry have known what was on page 15 since it was missing? Because he had seen the book at home. Harry must have been looking at Fang's books, and he saw the Harvard Hedgehog picture. I turned to Sludge. I must give this book to Rosamond and tell her that the case is solved. I must also tell Annie to feed Fang plenty of chicken noodle soup. But there is something else I want to do first. I Nate the Great picked up every book that Rosamond had bought over and carefully put them on a shelf. Just where they should be, I said. Then I took my Harvard Hedgehog book and sat down in my chair. I am going to read this book as a reader and not as a detective, I said. Let's read it together. Slud jumped up on my lap, and I Nate the Great read and read until I reached the end. Thanks for enjoying this video, and please subscribe to our channel. Bye!